Hello, squirrels. Look, I'm all decorated. I don't know if you can see the little duckies, and we've even got the little rosebuds up there. Here's my sign all the way. It's looking like Valentine's here. I'm just going to set you right there. So I might be far away, but anyway, you can hear me. Yeah, and you'll be seeing part of my cabinet. Maybe I could set that up there. Not that y'all need to see it, because y'all all kind of sweet. But y'all know, it's just my thing. My little trademark, whatever. I was so tickled with that. Oh, and over here on this lovely little thing I crocheted, which was going to be a lap blanket, but then it was too dense. This is some of the yarn I won from Miss Edna. The rest is sitting in a basket waiting on me to do a lap again, but these are all the Valentine things. These other ones were from yarn boxes or people. I started to do this a while ago, y'all. And I started to grin at y'all, and I had absolutely no teeth. I forgot to put my teeth in. Check my shirt out, too. Golly. It says to knit or not to knit. Now, that's a silly question. Sorry about all the noise and the crazy angle, but I wanted you to see stuff that you don't ordinarily see. And way up there is my Australian map. Okay, let's see. I think we're in the middle of it, or I think we're in chapter 19. You will know because the title will be on here. It must. No girl in her senses would refuse our John, though he isn't rich and never will be. Check the volume. Never will be. Daisy, I've been longing to tell you what he did with his money. He told me last night, and I've no time since to tell you. He sent poor young Barton to the hospital and kept him there till his eyes were saved. A costly thing to do, but the man can work now and care for his old parents. He was in despair, sick and poor and too proud to beg, and our dear boy found it out and took every penny he had and never even told his mother till she made him. Alice did not hear what Daisy answered, for she was busy with her own emotions, happy ones now, to judge from the smile that shone in her eyes and the decided gesture with which she put the little bud in her bosom, as if she said, he deserves some reward for that good deed, and he shall have it. Mrs. Meg was speaking, and still of John when she could hear again. Some people would call it unwise and reckless when John was so little, but I think his first investment a safe and good one. And he who giveth to the poor lendeth to the Lord. Poor lendeth to the Lord. And I was so pleased and proud, and wouldn't spoil it by offering him a penny. It is his having nothing to offer that keeps him silent, I think. He's so honest he won't ask till he has much to give, but he forgets that love is everything. I know he's rich in that. I see and feel it, and any woman should be glad to get it. Right, dear, I felt just so and was willing to work and wait with and for my John. So she will be, and I hope they will find it out, but she is so dutiful and good, I'm afraid she won't let herself be happy. You would like it, Mother? Heartily. For a better, nobler girl doesn't live. She is all I want for my son, and I don't mean to lose the dear brave creature if I can help it. Her heart is big enough for both love and duty, and they can wait more happily if they do it together, for wait they must, of course. I'm so glad his choice suits you, Mother, and he is spared the saddest sort of disappointment. Daisy's voice broke there, and a sudden rustle, followed by a soft murmur, seemed to tell that she was in her mother's arms, seeking and finding comfort there. Alice heard no more and shut her window with a guilty feeling, but a shining face, for the proverb about listeners failed here, and she learned more than she dared to hope. Things seemed to change suddenly. She felt that her heart was large enough for both love and duty. She knew now that she would be welcomed by mother and sister, and the memory of Daisy's less happy fate, Nat's weary probation, the long delay and possible separation forever, all came before her so vividly that prudence seemed cruelty, self-sacrifice, sentimental folly, and anything but the whole truth disloyal to her lover. As she thought thus, the half-blown rose went to join the bud, and then, after a pause, she slowly kissed the perfect rose and added it to the telltale groups. She's got 'em all. Saying to herself with a sort of sweet solemnity, as if the words were a vow, I'll love and work and wait with and for my John. It was well for her that Demi was absent when she stole down to join the guests, who soon began to flow through the house in a steady stream. The new brightness, just making sure, the new brightness which touched her usually thoughtful face was easily explained. Sorry, look at distracted squirrels. The new brightness which touched her usually thoughtful face was easily explained by the congratulations she received as orator, and the slight agitation observable when a fresh batch of gentlemen approached soon passed, as none of them noticed the flowers she wore over a very happy heart. Demi, meantime, was escorting certain venerable personages about the college and helping his grandfather entertain them with a discussion of the Socratic method of instruction. Pythagoras, Pestalozzi, Froebel, and the rest, when he devoutly wished at the bottom of the whom he devoutly wished at the bottom of the Red Sea, and no doubt, for his head and heart were full of love and roses, hopes, and fears. He piloted the potent, grave, and reverend seniors safely down to Plumfield at last, and landed them before his uncle and Aunt Bear, who were receiving in state, the one full of genuine delight in all men and things, the other suffering martyrdom with a smile as she stood shaking hand after hand, and affecting utter unconsciousness of the sad fact that ponderous Professor Plock had camped upon the train of her state and festival gown. No. With a long sigh of relief, Demi glanced about him for the beloved girl. Most persons would have looked some time before any peculiar angel could be discovered among the white-robed throng in parlors, hall, and study, but his eye went, like the needle to the pole, to the corner where a smooth dark head with its braided crown, like a queen's, he thought, above the crowd which surround her. Yes, she has a flower at her throat. One, too? Oh, blessed sight! He saw it all across the room and gave a rapturous sigh, which caused Miss Perry's frizzled crop to wave with a sudden gust. He did not see the rose, for it was hidden by a fold of lace, and it was well, perhaps, that bliss came by installments, or he might have electrified the assembled multitude by flying to his idol. There being no Daisy to clutch him by the coat-tail, a stout lady thirsting for information seized him at that thrilling moment, and he was forced to point out celebrities with a saintly patience which deserved a better reward than it received for a certain absence of mind and incoherence of speech at times caused the ungrateful dowager to whisper to the first friend she met after he escaped, "I saw no wine at any of the spreads, but it is plain that young Brooke has had too much." "Quite gentlemanly, but evidently a trifle intoxicated, my dear." "Ah, so he was, but with a diviner wine than any that ever sparkled at a Class Day lunch, though many collegians know the taste of it." And when the old lady was disposed of, he gladly turned to find the young one bent on having a single word. He saw her standing by the piano now, idly turning over music as she talked with several gentlemen. Hiding his impatience under an air of scholastic repose, Demi hovered near, ready to advance when the happy moment came, wondering meantime why elderly persons persisted in absorbing young ones instead of sensibly sitting in corners with their contemporaries. The elderly persons in question retired at length, but only to be replaced by two impetuous youths who begged Miss Heath to accompany them to Parnassus and join the dance. Demi thirsted for their blood and was appeased by hearing George and Dolly say, as they lingered a moment after her refusal, "Really, you know, I'm quite converted to coeducation, and almost wish I'd remained here. It gives a grace to study, a sort of relish even to Greek to see charming girls at it," said Stuffy, who found the feast of learning so dry any sauce was welcome, and he felt as if he had discovered a new one. "Yes, by Jove, we fellows will have to look out, or you'll carry off all the honors. You were superb today, and held us all like magic, though it was so hot there. I really think I couldn't have stood it for anyone else," added Dolly, laboring to be gallant, and really offering a touching proof of devotion, for the heat melted his collar, took the curl out of his hair, and ruined his gloves. "There's room for all, and if you will leave us the books, we will cheerfully yield the baseball, boating, dancing, and flirting, which seem to be the branches you prefer," answered Alice sweetly. "Ah, now you are too hard upon us. We can't grind all the time, and you ladies don't seem to mind taking a turn at the two latter branches you mentioned," returned Dolly, with a glance at George, which plainly said, "I had her there." "Some of us do in our first years. Later we give up childish things, you see. Don't let me keep you from Parnassus," and a smiling nod dismissed them smarter under the bitter consciousness of youth. "You got it there, Da. Better not try to fence with those superior girls, sure to be routed, horsefoot and dragoons," said Stuffy, lumbering away, somewhat cross with too many spreads. "So deuced sarcastic. Don't believe she's much older than we are. Girls grow up quicker, so she needn't put on airs and talk like a grandmother," muttered Dolly, feeling that he had sacrificed his kids upon the altar of ungrateful Pallas. "Come along and let's find something to eat. I'm faint with so much talking. Old Plot cornered me and made my head spin with Kant and Hegel and that lot. I promised Dora West I'd give her a turn. Must look her up. She's a jolly little thing, doesn't bother about anything but keeping in step." And arm in arm the boys strolled away, leaving Alice to read music as diligently as if society had indeed no charms for her. As she bent to turn a page, the eager young man behind the piano saw the rose and was struck speechless with delight. A moment he gazed and hastened to seize the coveted place before a new detachment of boors arrived. "Alice, I can't believe it. Did you understand? How shall I ever thank you?" murmured Demi, bending as if he too read the song, not a note or word of which did he see, however. "Hush, not now. I understood. I don't deserve it. We are too young. We must wait. But I'm very proud and happy, John." What would have happened after that tender whisper, I tremble to think, if Tom Bangs had not come bustling up with a cheerful remark. "Music? Just the thing. People are thinning out and we want a little refreshment. My brain fairly reels with the ologies and isms I've heard discussed tonight. Yes, give us this, sweet thing. Scotch songs are always charming." Demi glowered, but the obtuse boy never saw it, and Alice, feeling that this would be a safe vent for sundry unruly emotions, sat down at once and sang the song, which gave her answer better than she could have done. And here's a song that I won't sing because I don't know it, and I'm sparing you. Bide a wee, W-E-E. The pearl-awed folk at home, ye mind, are frail and failing, sir, and will I ken they'd miss me, lad, gin I come hame nae mar, that I come home anymore, I guess. The grist is out, the times are hard, the kine are only 3. I cannot leave the old folk now, we'd better bide a wee. Wait a while. I fear, sorry if I'm insulting your intelligence. I fear me sair their failing baith, for when I sit apart, they talk o' heaven so earnestly, it well nigh breaks my heart. So laddie, dinna urge me now, it surely winna be. I canna leave the auld folk yet, we'd better bide a wee. Perfect. The room was very still before the first verse ended, and Alice skipped the next, fearing she could not get through. For John's eyes were on her, showing that he knew she sang for him, and let the plaintive little ballad tell what her reply must be. He took it as she meant it, and smiled at her so happily that her heart got the better of her voice, and she rose abruptly, saying something about the heat. "Yes, you're tired. Come out and rest, my dearest." And with a masterful air, Demi took her into the starlight, leaving Tom to stare after them, winking, as if a skyrocket had suddenly gone off under his nose. Bless my soul, the deacon really meant business last summer and never told me. Won't Dora laugh? And Tom departed in hot taste to impart and exult over his discovery. What was said in the garden was never exactly known, but the Brooke family sat up very late that night, and any curious eye at the window would have seen Demi receiving the homage of his womankind as he told his little romance. Josie took great credit to herself in the matter, insisting that she had made the match. Daisy was full of the sweetest sympathy and joy, and Mrs. Meg so happy that when Joe had gone to dream of bridal veils and Demi sat in his room blissfully playing the air of Bide a Wee, she had her talk with Nat, ending with her arms round her dutiful daughter and these welcome words as her reward. "Wait till Nat comes home, and then my good girl shall wear white roses too." And that's the end. And next chapter is 20. So we got 20, 21, 22. Who knows if they'll probably be in parts because they're quite lengthy when I looked earlier. Chapter 20 is called Life for Life. And we'll stop there. And today is TGIFers. So I will be live at 5. Hope you've enjoyed the Valentine decorations from my heart attack. Again, thanks so much to Ryan. That was the sweetest thing ever. I'm so tickled for all the other people who have received, and I guess will receive. I almost wanted to pack it up and send it to somebody else too, but who knows? You may be seeing it now, but then I may be packing it up and taking it somewhere. You never know. Love to all. Mwah. Be sweet. Be sweet. Don't be ugly. Better know you won't. See you later. Bye-bye.